Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and to this energy report today. We're touching base on a fair few things today because so much has gone on, so much has shifted and changed, all for the best, and it's all feeling very exciting with this Lionsgate energy that's opening at the moment as we really move into a convergence of multiple kind of alignments of clearing, of connection, of building of the Merkaba, the collective Merkaba, or the auroric Merkaba. And this is something that I've really noticed over the past couple of months is how much galactic activity has been coming in. It's really, obviously, the Lionsgate is very typical, or it's basically to do with the connection to Sirius and the Sirian portals opening up. So the Sirian portal opened up at the start of whatever this month was, July. And within that, it brought really mass clearing, mass shifts, mass change. And this is one of the topics that we're going to be discussing today. So without further ado, I'm just going to touch base on a couple of things, some housekeeping first. On the 8th of the 8th, I'm going to be running a field calibration for Lionsgate, and that will sit at 6 p.m. UK time. I'm also going to be away for a week, I think on the 18th to the 23rd, with family. I'm actually having a holiday with them because we haven't actually sat down and seen each other for months, and we haven't been on holiday for years together, not since we were like young. So a lot of that's kind of going on as well. So it's all kind of like regrouping and kind of making up for past time now that we're all adults, I guess. And we've got new babies on the scene. So it's yeah, it's a time for celebration. It's time for connection. I'm also going to be running a grid session, a group grid session on the 17th, I believe, the day before I go away. That will be a group grid session. I don't know what we're going to be doing yet. I guess I'll find out, I think this week. I don't even know when this week's group grid session is or whether it's next week. I'm just unsure because, my God, has this month been the month of change? I mean, it really has. Okay, so August the 3rd, that's this week on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a group grid session. That's just a meet and greet to discuss as to where we're going to go. Then on the 17th of August, we're going to do the group grid session. I haven't actually got anything penciled in for the self-care Sunday. So I think I might try and squeeze that in on the 6th, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that goes because at the moment everything's a lot. So I'm just trying to kind of like find my paces within that and be able to kind of do everything whilst having such massive change that's going on around me. And the same will be kind of with you and your own lives as well. July has been so magnificent with change. After coming back from DC last month, I basically packed all my stuff in my house back then and moved in with my partner on the 4th of July. But on the same day as the 4th of July, I also had my driving test. I passed my driving test on the 4th of July. It was definitely Independence Day in the UK for me. And that coming Sunday, then we got a dog who's busy eating his bed at the moment and ripping all the fluff out everywhere. If it's not fluff, it's puppy pads. So yeah, that's been a journey. So there's been a lot of stuff being dragged up within that. And what I've noticed within all of this change, it's dragged up the real dregs of the self that needed to mature, that needed to become responsible. It felt like I was going through a responsibility expansion. And I can perceive that happening for many other people as well, as we're kind of culminating into that Lionsgate connection. It's like we're kind of hitting up to that next level of spiritual maturity. And what a wonderful thing to go through with that. It's very expansive, but at the same time very challenging, because the energy is so high, so vibrant, and it keeps on coming in. It's dragging up everything that needs to be looked at to really understand it, break it down, see if you still resonate with it, and then dissolve, resolve, update the blueprint, and then continue with your life until the next thing comes along. So fundamentally, we're going through really, really rapid change through July, which is going to continue through August to that 8-8 point, which then filters out and then moves into a new space of more calmer clarity and coming into a much more actualized state of awareness, ready for us to move into that second half, well, last quarter of the year, really, September, the last quarter. Oh, is it? I can't even do numbers right now. I'm like, oh my God. September is the 9th. Is it? Yeah, September is the 9th. So yeah, I think it's the last quarter, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah. That last little bit to kind of finalize everything. I probably got that wrong. Don't I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to blame myself if I get it wrong. So numbers have never really been my kind of thing. So yeah, it's really amazing what we're kind of going through at the moment with this deep purge and deep clearing. Now, what I've also noticed as well with some people is that the my dog is going crazy right now, is that on the flip side, if we get caught up in our own dramas, within our own storylines, without doing the healing work, without doing the deep integration, then we become a victim of our own mindset. Now, this is really interesting because it's something that I've been looking at in my past for where I kind of fell in and out of that pattern and that routine, and then working it out and coming to the realization actually that I put this in place for myself to grow, helped me kind of finalize. I'm going to say finalize and mature the kind of state of mind I was in back then. But at the same time as that happened, it was almost like multiple things clicked into place. And this will happen during a convergence, that you're able to clear multiple things, multiple timelines, all that kind of coincide really, I'm going to say easily, but it kind of is, it kind of isn't, because the energy is so much higher. It becomes so much more fluid with being able to understand, let things go and move on. But you're then able to kind of come into a state where you're integrating at a higher capacity, which is really, really amazing. So to integrate at a higher capacity, it basically means that you're able then to lift and release many, many, many things, and accelerate your ascension journey, your healing journey, your process, in order to get you to where you want to get to. You're coming into this junction, into this time period where you are able to really accelerate everything. This Stargate ascension, really. So that has been one of the really wondrous things that has happened since the 25th. I mean, the energy started coming in, I felt, around the 12th of July. But then obviously these things, they graduate and they accelerate the further we get towards these gates, gate sites. So like the 25th was really like the open day for it, and then now we're on the 31st. Everything has really, really like amplified, and just become so much easier to kind of work through, to move through. And And at the same time, all that heaviness is coming in or coming up. The heightened bliss, love charge is also flowing in at the same time, which is allowing the balancing of the polarized field to kind of harmonize. So that's really kind of where I'm at the moment, and where many other people are kind of at. The awareness and development of Lionsgate is a really core period for manifestation, but also what I find is it's great to unlock information. So set yourself a challenge if you aren't automatic writing already. Set yourself a challenge and just start to question things in journal form. And as you do the questioning, sorry, I just had to kind of sort my dog out. It's destroying everything. I can't even remember where we were. Yes, automatic writing, thank you. So set yourself the challenge to expand your psychic ability through writing. You can write yourself a question about something that you're finding a little bit difficult today, or any day that may be a part of healing that might need to come up, and just ask for what is it all about? Where are you getting stuck within it, and where is the point of origin? So as you kind of question these things, you'll start going through a period of journey, because the energy, like I said, is super high. It brings you into an easier state of trance, which then allows the ability to kind of see where you're getting stuck and what it is about. So it's aiding the development for the process of being able to read your fields, to read your history and understand what your patterns are. Now, some cases within this as well, I find it very important to raise. Sometimes you don't get anything, you won't get any kind of information. So the question we want to ask with that is why is nothing coming forward, right? So when nothing really comes forward, have you got a covenant that's blocking you from looking at it? So if there's a covenant there, what does that mean? Why have you bound yourself from looking at a specific topic or a specific reason? Is it because the issue was too painful to look at before? Is it because there's a lot of shame held around it at the origin point of something that you potentially have done? Different life, different planet, these kinds of things. So it's really a case of starting to debunk the mysteries, but at the same time recognizing that when you're going through this stuff, realizing that you're not the same person that you were there, because you've gone through an evolutionary process, and then within that you're able to kind of make it a lot easier for yourself to move through where you've kind of been stuck before in the past. So this is a really great time, like I said, to practice these kind of techniques of expansion, of growth, and of deeper healing. But at the same time, think about what you want to bring in. How do you want to upgrade yourself? How do you want to update your fields? Is there a specific templating you may have heard of or felt like you want to kind of build into your structure, and really start to work with developing the core aspects of yourself that are going to be able to facilitate and hold space for you to upgrade your architecture, to be able to harness that higher light code, higher light synthesis, in order for expansion and development. Okay, so there's like many things we can look at within the month of August, even just the first 2 weeks, to really develop the self and kind of upgrade, which is just such a wonderful gift to give yourself at the same time. So yeah, that's that's something that's really kind of come into my thought form at the moment. So another thing that I've been kind of looking at is the development of my own healing, my own abilities and skills, and how I can kind of bring that forward for others too. So more recently, I've been playing around with the idea of remodeling the divine blueprint. And the remodeling of the divine blueprint really kind of comes down to looking at how what has been running within your field, within your circuitry, within your universal structure can again be developed and upgraded. So one thing that I have asked for as an example here is to not carry too much heaviness and be able to anchor into higher source light and build that into my reality, build that into my awareness, so I can experience more on a day-to-day heightened level of joy and less hardness, less harshness, less sadness, this, that, and the other. Now, this to me was phenomenal, because what happened was when I asked for this, I saw all of this alchemy coming in, all of these codes start to come in, and the blueprint itself began an evolutionary process which not spun, but kind of like looking through a kaleidoscope, it changed all the geometric fractalized expressions and formed a completely new presentation, a new shape, a new structure, or a new structure. But at the same time, what it did was it drew up all of these crystals that were held deeply buried at the very base, underneath, not seeing any light, brought them right up to the top of the blueprint. And as that kind of happened, the divine source light blended and merged and anchored into the crystals, which then updated through all of the fields, all of the blueprints, all of the scalar waves, all of the dimensional fields, and really started to elevate how I was feeling at such a rapid pace. Now, the interesting part about this is obviously I'm on this like journey of learning like you guys are as well. So what I can receive, I'm going to share with you, because this is the development into the Blu-ray, the blueprinting or blueprint redesigner or blueprint remodeling, all of the traits of the Blu-ray that begin to kind of develop as a creator of the reality. My gift to share with you is how we can kind of work through this and learn how to integrate this palette, this wonderful gift that we're unconscious of at the moment, but also we're conscious of it, and bringing it into this reality and this perspective to be able to change our lives. And that really is the fundamental. If we're looking into Lionsgate, where it is the period of manifestation, where we can really upgrade everything, let's look to the blueprint, guys. We look to the blueprint, we're then able to kind of shift and change everything in an instant. And as we kind of watch that blueprint shift and change, all of the harmonics update, they illuminate, false holographic inserts release. You know, so when I see that happening within my blueprint, I'm then drawn to all of these other areas of kind of I will call them points of interest, where there is heaviness, where there's trauma, where there's implants, inserts, imprints of consciousness, because this then allows I sounded really brummy then. It allows the reordering of the blueprints to near enough instantaneously materialize. Maybe for me, it was like a day later, or 2 days later, actually, because it happened on Saturday. Then yesterday, I was bedridden because of it. And then today, I feel amazing. So, we look at these kind of things, we get drawn to all of the areas of imbalance within the field, within your structure, within your whole universal presentation. Everything's then able to kind of release and let go. You're able to restore the color spectrums into these areas where they were heavily blocked, holding gray tone, implanted, imprinted, to be able to access that reality that you're actually looking for, right? Now, because of these big shifts, these big changes that occur within your structure, whilst you're within this period of high energy, of course, it's going to have some kickback every now and then. So for me, yesterday, I was pretty much unable to get out of bed because what came up was a massive reordering of anger, repressed anger, repressed kind of trauma that was all shifted and able to kind of come out. But the great thing about it is that you've also got a choice of whether you want to participate within that, depending on what dimensional viewpoint you're going to look into at it. Whether you want to take the ascended master approach and look down at it and just see it move, whether you want to come into the victimizer mode because of the emotion that is coming up within you. And believe me, I've been there many a time. And I did a little bit yesterday as well, just to be human here. It's not always easy. It's not comfortable. Sometimes it gets the better of us. And sometimes it gets the better of your partner as well, because you got the tail end of it too in the morning. And then it all clicked, shifted, and then became wonderful towards the afternoon. So all of these little things kind of circulate through your field as a point of clearing. Now, what I was really enticed with today, as I did my meditation this afternoon, was I was called to embrace the trance and really fall into it. And that actually came through movement, natural movement, dancing, soft dancing movements. And if anybody else was around, they'd probably think I was a nut. But I was sat luckily here, embracing the trance, really focusing on the breath work within that as well. So yes, I was in trance, but with the deep breath and the breath work techniques, I was then able to maintain a state of presence, because otherwise you go too much into the trance, you don't know what you're doing, you lose sight and focus and consciousness because it becomes all mystical and magical and blah, blah, blah. And you miss out on the magic that's actually happening whilst you're holding a conscious presence, right? So this technique, I've actually got it written down. Get lost in trance, stay focused with breath work, and find natural movement to ease the mind from locking into the states of trauma, right? So it's uncomfortable, but getting lost in the trance and the natural movement of dance is allowing the mind to disconnect from the pain, whilst allowing the divine source energy to move through, feeling like tones of bliss and magic, really strong, unconditional, bliss charged love moving through the body, which then allows that heaviness to be lifted up and out. And this is really great for people who, like me, have quite the ADHD mind or have quite the kind of active racing mind. It works a treat, because when your body is engaged, or your mind is engaged with movement or kind of can be writing. So that's a great one for me, is like I love to write whilst I meditate, because then I get much more of a clearer flow of information coming in. I can keep track of everything and I don't get too much coming in and through all at once. Right, so as that kind of goes through, you're then able to kind of document and allow yourself to filter in that level of freedom, and really allow that conscious release of trauma, but feeling the bliss, charged love energy at the same time. So you're getting a combination of the two, which is then bridging a kind of melting pot. So where the heaviness sat, you've got an undercurrent of bliss, lifting to release, filling up your insides to come and illuminate, right? So that magic was just phenomenal for me. I mean, I love Lionsgate as much as everyone else, but last year was very, very expansive. This year I found it a little bit more uncomfortable to get into, purely because I feel that my sentient field is a lot more active. So I'm feeling a lot more of the wounding, whether it's mine, whether it is collective, whether it is clients that are coming in. So when you're going through those kind of things, it does become more uncomfortable. Also, with all this like drastic change that has happened as well, dragging up everything else, it's not going to make it as easy to find that 0 point. So you have to kind of work at it, which is unfortunate, because last year I didn't really feel like I had to work at it. However, it's all for your own growth and development. So now it feels like, yes, we've got the understandings, but how can we apply that into now? And are you going to fall back on yourself and allow the heaviness to take over, or realize that you don't actually have to participate within that heavy, confined, dominating trauma, or heavy stagnant energies, which is just uncomfortable, where you lose the belief within yourself, right? Because that's what it kind of does. It's like, if you fall into that state of, oh my God, it hurts, I can't do this, you're then giving up, essentially, right? I'm getting such strong pain through my teeth right now. It's a lot of energy moving through. Okay. Krasmati Buria so Otobushmi Mora, Asia Krasmatia Diana Atipia Bashma Asmio Tora Asmio Kora Atiatra on Ma Ihia Popo Yatrazniona o Yatrasma Okia Porasna Atipo o Tirasna Asiam Yama Ioi. Krasmati Buniamo Oki Po Yatara Osiama Atiana Atiatarashna Ihia Rashna Asia Porasna Asiama. Okay, so as we kind of go through all of those motions, I actually did a video, I think it was the other day, I can't really remember, that was dedicated really more so to beginners on the journey of how to kind of quite easily, I say easily, it gives a guide to navigate how to work with the emotional body and how to lift up trauma, how to do a basic transformation of trauma. So that could be something just to kind of take a look at, but then apply these techniques of the getting lost in trance, staying focused with the breath work, and then finding a natural movement to ease the mind from locking into trauma. Now, there's so much kind of common misconception about needing to be completely still in meditation, needing to be completely still within the mind to actually meditate, when this is simply not true. Also within the 0 point field as well, sometimes you don't need to be completely in stillness. Sometimes you've got to kind of move the body because it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you need to connect with the energies, and that might take a little bit of movement. It might take a little bit of emotional struggle. It's not all going to kind of neutralize straight away. Sometimes it needs to be worked into, unlocked, release the seal systems that are kind of locking down the memories, release the density locks that are preventing you from accessing the flows of frequency from moving through the body. You need to kind of work into it to actually get to that point. Now, I don't know whether I'm saying that because for myself, I've gone through quite substantial levels of trauma. But some people will just find it very easy. So it's really like a kind of active mixture of what works for you. But what I really implore, I don't even know whether that's the right word, is to experiment within your meditation, to experiment within your kind of practice, and don't get stuck in the same thing over and over again, because when you kind of sit there in your meditation, you might need to actively engage with movement, with heavy breath work, with extending the spine, twisting to unlock. You know, you might need to really go deep into thought or ride the waves of energy that come in. Now, that for me was a real game changer, the riding the waves of the energy that came in, because if you just kind of sit there in stillness and do nothing, the energy can come in and you can completely bypass it, right? And I haven't really found, I mean, I haven't really looked, but I haven't really found another teacher that said that before. And I don't like to call myself a teacher really, but I'm delivering a transmission as we go along here. I've handed everything over to the founder races, so here we go. You know, when you kind of connect into the vision and you connect into the flows of energy, the frequency, it becomes fluid and you become that. So when they brought forward that information of get lost in trance, this is what I mean, or what they mean, or what we both mean. Because getting lost within that is going to be the access point to switch off the mind enough to allow higher vibrational frequency to move through the body. It's going to be the moment where you are able to access more of an understanding, because you're downloading more information without capping it off, without cutting it off, and without blocking it out. And you are going to be able to get more of like a deeper understanding of the emotional depth within that. Now, there's nothing wrong with just sitting back and observing it as well. So that would be coming into the neutrality, coming into just simple awareness, no connection, detachment. That's also a really great way to do it as well. But if you struggle to build a momentum of charge within your body, then I very much recommend getting lost in the trance, developing that connection, building and focusing with breath work. So you've got that push-pull momentum, like the seawater coming into the tide and then pulling back the sand as it comes back out again. That will be your momentum of give and take, give and take, give and take, to draw that information in. Observe, observe, observe. You're interplaying with it, building the charge, and then you neutralize that charge that you've developed by interacting with it. Then builds a momentum where you can actually neutralize, engage, and see the next level of the vision developing, right? So I guess what we're doing today is talking about holographic field development, holographic understanding and perception awareness, and also clairvoyant development. And this is a really great time to practice that through Lionsgate, because the energies are so high. You've got so much more availability to really process, to really practice and evolve yourself. Yeah. So I don't actually feel like I've got anything else left to say, which is quite funny because I normally have a lot to say. But I just feel like I can leave you with that information. Um, I would say have a wonderful Lionsgate. Really enjoy yourself. Enjoy connecting into those higher bliss tones. Enjoy riding the currents and integrate them. Work to develop your Syrian aspects, your Syrian counterparts, your Syrian history, and your memories. You'll want to really develop that as it comes in. Question your thoughts. Are they your thoughts? Are they your memories? Are they your history? You know, because allowing that to kind of really come forwards, you're giving yourself permission to understand. Now, when the memories are unlocked, they may not present as what you would perceive memories to be like. It can come across as a clairvoyant vision, a flash, a feeling, a knowing. But the fundamentals are if you can pick apart that memory and understand what happened, you're going to gain access to a whole plethora of information, of convergence points, of timelines that are able to kind of clear and integrate. So when you kind of find these things, if you get that feeling of being sad that's coming over you, just send in unconditional love, unlock your essence, and call back to reintegrate. That development is really important to reintegrate and build back, because then you're actually gaining more alignment physically, alignment multidimensionally, and a horizontal alignment as well, I would say too. Yeah, I feel we're kind of good here. So on that note, let's jump into meditation. Let's just access into the magenta ray, connect into the heart center, work with the breath. Really feel the engagement as that magenta ray takes over the body. Get lost in the magenta ray. Work with the breath. As you feel it taking over, find some natural movement. Seeing the chakra system opening, multiple lotus flowers expanding and opening, restoring full color bloom. We're going to bring in the white ray sphere of light emanation to pour into the center point of that lotus, feeding the color tones back. Engage with it. Allow the breath to really ramp up here. As your consciousness moves down into the body, as it moves into the body, you're then gaining more momentum, and the mind switches off. You become more so your energy body. You may feel heat coming through. Also seeing the aquamarine tone pouring down as a scalar wave. Expanding into 12 scalars, blending as one. DNA enhancement. Diamond frequency moving through the DNA fields. We look to the body. We can see all of this heavy grey tone shake and release as the light frequency bands turning up a notch from the feet, rising upwards through that momentum. Restoring color tones. We're going to look into the fractalization of the diamond here and just see the many, many multitonal aspects of the iridescent within each facet of the diamond, building back into the body. Light refraction, expanding through the cellular body, the cellular matrix. I continuously have been seeing the Anunnaki as well within this. So we just want to start releasing, revoking, rescinding any oaths, vows, agreements tied to the Anunnaki enslavement systems. And this one in particular is presenting as Enki, and he's come to me earlier this week as well. And he keeps on ringing a bell as well. And what I'm hearing with this and feeling with this is as the bells ring, waves of silver light begin to deconstruct heavy metal compression. Heavy filters within the mind. And some of you may start feeling quite heavy around the heart, the left side chest, up into the throat here. This is very deep blocked expression. Coming all the way up into the mental field here, and we're just going to start breaking down this metal grid infrastructure, holding a control orientation of mind control that's locking through the heart, there's trauma locks through the heart and expression capped. We just want to go ahead, release any seal systems, locking this down. Unlocking the holographic memory fields of this kind of trauma taken into Mesopotamian temples. Feeling a lot of anger release here, knowing that it's not yours anymore. So we can move it out of the body, dropping back down into neutralization. As we've recognized, we move through, we work with the breath, we allow the divine source light to move into the body, finding that natural flow. The natural breath work. Sometimes it can be as well that you may get a tightness around the crown of the head, because there is heaviness there that doesn't want to look at the kind of information that's coming forwards. Sometimes it can just be so horrific that you don't want to kind of see it. So you can release any covenants tied into blocking memories, blocking the energy from passing through. Okay, right. What I'm seeing here are blood covenants written upon an altar, essentially signing away your free will, signing away the soul aspects, the soul essence here. So we just want to, again, release, revoke, rescind any oaths, vows, agreements, contracts, covenants tied into upholding any dark structures, to upholding any upholding any kind of levels of control in the field, pulling back your energy, pulling back your essence of force, releasing any control, any force, manipulation. Any ritualistic kind of aspect within that as well. Yogoras me yogoras na ati, tutoras na akiaras masma yotora na ahia ma ahia kurismos na akiakora. I'm just really seeing your divine essence in platinum, gold and silver, and white together. Just moving out of this golden emblem of Anunnaki history. Moving back into center and flashing as you recode your field, you recode your blueprint. We're going to update through your blueprint as we just observe the blueprint fields here. And what I'm looking at is almost like a kaleidoscope image here. As it's moving, I can see it reorder where layers of heaviness, gridlock within the fragmentation dissolve, dissipate. And then what I'm seeing is layer by layer by layer, multiple geometric imagery restoring, each hosting a different color, predominantly red, green, gold, yellow, orange, beginning to spin on top of each other, setting into place, creating a whole new, balanced, harmonized geometric expression. Vertical pillar aspects coming back into alignment here. Playing around the head as we move this through. Focusing on the root. Working with the breath. We focus on the lower chakras because it becomes easier for us to navigate the mind as it lifts to release. The mind goes a little bit more still as you're paying attention to somewhere else, allowing all the heaviness to move through the upper parts of the body. Really deep, strong breaths whilst focusing on the Hara, Muladhara. Crystal diamond light as the fountain moves into the pineal gland, updating through the third eye field and out through the crown of the head, heat moving through the body. And blocking the heaviness of the third eye and crown. A lot of the time when we can't move energy through the third eye and crown is because there's too much backlog of heavy, dense trauma that isn't wanting to be looked at. And it becomes really tight there and unlocked. See yourself throwing down the chains that were bound to the wrists. Divine will, expansion, purifying the warrior template as we reorient the perspectives of what the warrior template is instead of going in for fighting. We become in through knowledge and expansion and understanding. Self-awareness and self-development becomes the warrior template. Because you're then able to move out of a state of contention, confrontation, and into expanded awareness to be able to see the issues before they arise, to be able to process and understand why it is that it's coming in for you or to you. So you really gain the upper hand. And if our third eyes and our crowns are blinded, how can we see what's coming? Correcting the blueprint here, correcting the understandings, looping the feedback response and the awareness to expand through the center core of the blueprint, and reconnect through each tier, each level, each layer of the divine blueprint. Feeling that divine light medicine moving through the body. Agora yatara osiyama ataposhmi mura shini okora sna ati. Tokora asiyatara osiyama maahia kora sna okia pora. Re-engage through the pain body as we update the awareness of the pain body. Mokiras matapos mura osiokoras na akia. Observe the blueprint remodel. Foundations reconstruct, waterways open and move through. Architecture illuminates, crisp candles light up the way. Geometric expressions illuminate through the templating. And we just want to start seeing the sky clear here. Architecture evolving. Expansion of the field. And we scan the body as well at the same time. It's important to, once we've developed in one place, we scan the body as well, because then we get to refer and relate where that heaviness was kind of stored. So scanning up underneath the feet, the backs of the legs, with all the changes that have been made, we scan the body through up under the feet, up through the calves, the ankles, the knees, the thighs. Scanning up through the hips, the bones, the base of the spine, the abdomen, the organs, taking it up through the body. And as you kind of process this through the body, you may feel heat, tightness. O kieros mi push memora osia. You may even start feeling pressure through the heart. And as we start to come into these points of pressure, drop out of the mind down into the body. Lift to release. With the breath work, we identify this as trauma releasing, heaviness releasing. Scan the solar plexus, update through the chakra system, update through all fields, update through all localized grids, working with the breath, and now moving to seal, forward through all levels or layers of light, sealing forward through all bodies, through all blueprints, update through all blueprints, and seal forward now through the breath of the divine I am presence. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a wonderful August. Enjoy the energy, enjoy the vibrancy, and let's look to a happier, more fulfilled, more integrated, communicative future. That we're already there, but it's just materializing more and more day by day. Okay, I'll see you at the Lionsgate if I see you. If not, I'll see you at the Gridwork thing. If not, I'll be posting some meditations somewhere on YouTube at some point. I think I'm going to be doing some updates with Indy as well, and maybe some other people. I'm not sure. Loads of love, everyone. Take care. Bye.